Hi, friends. Today we are going to talk about the place that has become a symbol of one of the most terrible and tragic disasters in the history of mankind, Chernobyl. For many people, this term is associated with a terrible accident at a nuclear power plant that happened in 1986. But behind this word lies much more than just memories of destruction. Chernobyl is a place full of mysteries, lessons, and unique facts that often remain in the shadows. In this video, I will tell you about 10 such facts that not everyone knows and that may surprise you. So, buckle up. We're going on a journey through Chernobyl to learn 10 surprising facts about the place that changed the world. Ready? Let's go! 1. Chernobyl and its role in world energy. The Chernobyl disaster was not only a tragedy for the USSR, but also influenced the development of nuclear power around the world. Before the accident, nuclear power was considered one of the safest and most promising sources of energy. However, Chernobyl demonstrated that errors in design and operation can lead to catastrophic consequences. Many countries revised their plans to build nuclear power plants, and some countries even decided to abandon nuclear power altogether. As a result of the Chernobyl disaster, international safety norms and standards for nuclear facilities were significantly tightened, and the search for alternative energy sources was actively pursued. 2. Myths about Chernobyl radiation. Truth or fiction? There are many myths about the radiation that was in Chernobyl after the accident. Some people believe that the entire area around the plant was completely contaminated, and everyone who was there inevitably died from radiation exposure. However, the reality is much more complex. There were indeed dangerous levels of radiation in the exclusion zone, but not all of the area was so dangerous. The scientists and liquidators who worked there were often exposed to radiation, but not always in lethal doses. Chernobyl became an important field for research, and scientists were able to better understand how radiation affects living organisms. 3. The mysterious forests of Chernobyl, nature under radiation. Nowadays, Chernobyl is not only an exclusion zone, but also a place where nature is surprisingly recovering. The forests that surrounded the nuclear power plant are partially absorbing the radiation, and scientists are watching how plants and animals are adapting to the new conditions. Experts say the Chernobyl zone ecosystem is in some ways recreating its own balance despite the radiation. The area is home to rare species of animals, including moose, wild boars, and even bison, which were not previously present. 4. The mystery of Pripyat, the ghost town and its inhabitants. Pripyat is a city that was built specifically for the workers of the Chernobyl nuclear power plant. At first, it was a thriving city, but after the accident, it became a ghost town. The residents of Pripyat were evacuated as a matter of urgency, but many left their homes and personal belongings behind. The city was abandoned almost immediately after the disaster, and this created a unique frozen time that has become a focus for tourists and researchers alike. Pripyat is a true historical reminder of how quickly things can change. 5. Chernobyl liquidators, heroes, and their exploits. After the Chernobyl accident, thousands of people were sent to deal with the aftermath of the disaster. These people, known as liquidators, risked their lives to minimize the damage from the accident. Many were exposed to high levels of radiation and were unaware of the possible effects on their health. The liquidators often faced horrific conditions and worked in the most dangerous places, risking not only their health but also their lives. Undoubtedly, this is a tragic but important chapter in the history of Chernobyl. 6. The Chernobyl zone as a laboratory for scientists. After the disaster, Chernobyl became a natural laboratory for ecologists and radiologists. The exclusion zone is a place where scientists can observe the effects of radiation on nature and animals over decades. It is becoming increasingly clear that radiation does not destroy all living things as previously thought. On the contrary, in some places nature is recovering remarkably quickly, and animals and plants are adapting to the conditions of radiation contamination. This opens new horizons for scientific research and understanding of the effects of radiation on living organisms. 7. The global health impact of Chernobyl. The Chernobyl disaster had far-reaching consequences for human health. Millions of people were exposed to radiation, which affected the health of not only the workers at the plant, but also the residents of the surrounding areas. In the years since the accident, scientists have conducted many studies trying to establish the exact link between radiation exposure and diseases such as cancer, heart disease, and others. Chernobyl has become an important indicator of how radiation affects human health in the long term. 8. Chernobyl in pop culture, movies, games, and books. Chernobyl has left an indelible mark on culture and has inspired many works of art. The most famous works are movies such as HBO's Chernobyl, games such as the Stalker series, and books such as Ashes of Chernobyl. These works not only entertained viewers, but also helped spread awareness of the disaster and its aftermath. Pop culture played a role in keeping the tragedy of Chernobyl in the minds of people around the world. 9. Myths and reality about life in the exclusion zone. The Chernobyl exclusion zone today is an area that attracts tourists from all over the world. There are many myths and rumors surrounding it. Some believe that Chernobyl is a place where people can experience unexplained phenomena, such as encounters with ghosts or anomalies. In fact, the exclusion zone remains safe for short-term stays if all cautions are followed, but it is still a place with high levels of radiation. 10th, modern Chernobyl research, recovery, and new technologies. The Chernobyl disaster is not only an event of the past, but also a topic for modern scientific analysis and recovery. Now scientists continue to investigate how radiation affects the Earth and people, and develop new technologies to clean up contaminated areas. Chernobyl research may provide key answers to questions about the future of the planet and its resilience to environmental disasters. Chernobyl reminds us of the importance and caution of how we should treat nature and the technologies we create. It is a place where, despite the pain and destruction, nature continues to fight for its existence, and people continue to fight to restore peace. And while time cannot erase the memory of Chernobyl, it does offer a chance for a new understanding and a chance to learn from the lessons of the past in the future. Chernobyl remains a part of our history and our future, and its research will continue. Everything that happens in this zone reminds us how fragile the balance between man and nature can be, and how important it is to take care of our common home, planet Earth.